Yeah, so we're here in front of Pixie, and Pixie is one of those cafes that were threatened by being torn down, closed down, and torn down about 4 years ago. I'm one of the regulars in this place, and one day the owner came up to me and said, I just got this letter from the city of Copenhagen, and they want to tear this whole thing down because these buildings aren't worth saving, apparently. So I thought this was incredible because this square is the heart and the soul of this neighborhood. There's over 70,000 people living in the proximity of this area. There's 3 schools in the streets out here, lots of kindergartens and nurseries, and it's just a place where everybody meets during the day. In the mornings, it's people from, parents from the schools. They drop off their kids, and then they meet here for a coffee, and they talk about stuff. Though it's the social fabric. It's where people meet, and it's where girlfriends meet and talk about boyfriends and stuff like that. So all the things that you want, and if you're a city planner, you really want to create these kind of urban spaces. And then City of Copenhagen decides, we're going to knock this down because these buildings are old, and it's really just old garages from the Second World War. So I was just amazed by the fact that they would make such a ridiculous decision. So I gathered a couple of other the locals and the regular people from the cafe in there, and we decided to do something about it. And luckily enough, there was a local election just a few months later. So we knew that most of the politicians, they weren't really going to be happy about trying to defend something like this in front of the population. So we made a Facebook group, did a logo that looked like something out of a revolution, like a banner, and they actually still have it up in there. And then we rallied over 17,000 people in 3 days, and it obviously got all the politicians wide awake. They came out here. We had this huge demonstration on the square where we had some of the most popular singers in this country who came and performed and spoke for maintaining and keeping spaces, urban spaces like this, because this is exactly what you want. This is what also makes sure that a neighborhood has soul and is able to thrive, and it makes people safe as well, that there is something, you can see people sitting out in the street. It's exactly what you want. And so we just presented the arguments and said, this is ridiculous. Why tear something like that down? This has all the elements you want. It also has this Parisian atmosphere, and it combines all the different groups. It has parents and young people or young families in the daytime, and then as you go into the evening, like we have now, you have students, and you have later on. It's actually in weekdays. It's open until 5 o'clock in the morning, so you have people partying and having a good time. And there's a cafe next door as well. And so they basically decided, within just a few days of that happening, they decided to take the whole plan off the table. And so even before the battle has started, they basically said, yes, you're right. This was a wrong decision. We did it basically because somebody just looked at a piece of paper and thought, yes, we can do this. We own the property. It's not worth saving. And that's very often how decisions are being made in municipalities. People don't really think about the fact that there are real people living out there. This isn't just an administrative task of sitting there and signing a piece of paper and saying, now we're going to do this. It has real consequences. And I think a lot of them realize that. And when we subsequently, the week after, had a huge party on the square, over 1,000 people on this small square came, and we had more musicians coming in, performing. Most of the politicians who were involved in this actually came out, and we gave them these little plaques they could have signed and so on. And I think they felt that we had opened their eyes to something that, and I'm hoping as well that for the future as well, that they're starting to see those little oases around the city that are worth saving, that they aren't just going to knock them down, because that's kind of the city planning of the 1960s. Those were the engineers with the grand schemes and saying, now we're gonna make a 6-lane motorway right through the city. And it nearly started to happening in Copenhagen as well. And they did tear down some significant neighborhoods. But I feel now that we've entered into a new era as well, where politicians and city planners are beginning to really appreciate open spaces like this. So, yeah, so Pixie here is. I love this space here, and it has what we Danes call hygge, and it's written on the wall down there as well. And hygge is it's difficult to define, but it's something that involves mainly being around people you like. So you could say what we're doing right here, we're drinking beer, we're having good conversation, we're laughing, there's candles, and I think also just that building, which is not polished, it's not full of steel and concrete and glass. It could be a little bit crooked, old wood, old rusty chairs and stuff like that. Usually is involved in hygge as well. So Danes love their little summer cottages by the sea, with they're very tiny and lots of colors and flowers and candles and things like that. And that's exactly what I believe that Pixie embodies as well. And so they have kærlighed as well, which means love. So love and hygge is what this place is all about. And I think that's also why it's so popular, because people come here because it does embody all of these great things that make worth life living. And you would say if I were to be I would say to you